Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get in the Garage.
We're the music podcast.
For music lovers.
We have an extended table, and our set is expanding, as you can see here at Get in the Garage Studios. We're very excited. We hope that you enjoy it as much as we do.
Welcome to Black Table Last Supper.
Black Table Last Supper.
Talk.
The last supper. Before we get into the podcast episode, as always, don't forget to like and comment, subscribe, and share the channel with all your friends and your family and your enemies and your beloved and everybody. It's the best podcast ever made. So
it's the best music podcast ever made.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal. So to back that up, well, Luke, why don't you tell the good people what to expect this episode?
We have music news. Like always, we are going to do a new segment where we talk about music through the years that we have lived and experienced, and we are going to share the year 1995 with you all today. And then we are going to do new album reviews from Bruce Springsteen. He's doing some soul covers. What do we think? What do you think? We will find out. And then we are also covering Nas and his new album, finishing his trilogy of albums, King's Disease 3. So
Yeah.
that's what we got for you today.
Let's get it kicked off.
Roll that theme song, dude.
Roll the music.
Jack Blacking us? Where's my piss?
I'm going to get ahead of myself, but I'm just laughing, thinking, I just wish the Nas album was done in the style of the Bruce Springsteen album.
That's Bruce Springsteen. This is
Nas
only
singing
volume
disco songs or something.
Do I love you?
Do I love you? Yes. All right. So welcome everybody to another episode. As we always do, we're gonna start off with some music news. Luke, would you like to kick us off into our music news? I know you don't have any legal news.
I don't, but I got a real bummer for you.
All right. Let's start with the bummer. It's what we do best.
Roberta Flack has ALS, which is a real bummer.
I heard about that.
Can no longer sing, which is very disappointing. She is still going to pursue her arts and music that she is doing. She can still play and do some creative projects, so that will be good. But yeah, very sad. Roberta Flack is, a wonderful singer and piano player, and wrote the seminal hit, "Killing Me Softly," which is going to have its 50th anniversary next year. So that's very exciting, but very
I was going to
sad
say
news.
she's in her mid-70s, maybe? Late 70s?
I think so. Yeah.
She is 85.
Oh
Holy shit.
Damn.
That's what I got for you.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
Well-
another one of the projects she's doing is a children's book called The Green Piano: How Little Me Found Music, which is interesting and cool, and she's still doing projects. So was something I thought was really
She's
awesome.
Still keeping creative.
Right.
Right on. Well, our thoughts and prayers go to Roberta Flack. That sucks, man. That's very sad.
Yes.
Well, to bring things into the more of the Christmas spirit, it's official. Mariah Carey has been denied the Queen of Christmas trademark. Wah, wah. So she will never be known as the Queen of Christmas. Apparently, she put it in. I think we've covered this sort of here and there. She's been getting a bit of heat thrown on her for her the "All I Want for Christmas Is You" thing, and all of that stuff. The Mariah Carey saga carries on. No pun intended. Elizabeth Chan, who purports to be the only full-time Christmas songwriter who was dubbed a Queen of Christmas in a 2018 New Yorker profile, who released an album called Queen of Christmas. She filed court documents seeking to block Mariah Carey from trademarking the phrase, and apparently it worked. And according to this news source, she is elated. She's very happy. It's her life's work.
I need to piggyback off your Christmas news.
Okay.
Real fast.
Okay.
Only because it has to do with Christmas. Did you see what Doja Cat's been doing on Twitter? So Elon Musk changed the Twitter rules where you could buy a check mark, but when you bought the check mark, you couldn't change your name anymore. And so Doja Cat's name on Twitter was Christmas.
Yeah.
So she was like, I don't want my name to be Christmas forever. So Elon Musk was like, hold on, I'm working on this. And then she was allowed to change her name again. which she then quickly changed to Elon Musk, which is against Twitter's rules, which then she was, kicked off. And then she changed her name permanently to Fart. So now Doja Cat's name on Twitter is now Fart. So
Merry Fartmas.
That's where we landed from Merry Christmas being her name when he changed the rules to now her permanent name that she cannot change anymore is F-A-R-T, Fart.
She can't delete it and then just make a new one.
As of now, no.
I don't know how Twitter works, but
because people are going crazy on Twitter.
She would
with all the
not.
trolling.
Because you can't impersonate people,
Yeah.
so you could just say you're Bill Clinton and start tweeting like I'm Bill Clinton,
Oh wow.
whatever Bill Clinton tweets.
Elon Musk, Idiot of the Year award.
Doja Cat, Fart of the Year.
Fart of the Year
This
award.
fart's for you.
Moo.
Some news today. Today, the Grammy nominations were announced for the 2023 Grammys. This is music. The eligibility period was October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, I believe. The ceremony takes place in April, which just reminds me how the Grammys are fucking stupid. Because it's like, you're going to tell me the nomination's a half a year before, and this is music from like 2 years ago now. Like,
Also,
okay.
also, I have an issue with the Grammys. What's up with these categories, man? I've never looked at the Grammy categories. I'm going to be straight with you. I've never looked at the Grammy categories because I don't care. But now that I have decided that I care, what is the difference between Record of the Year and Song of the Year? Yo, what is the difference?
The Record of the Year is the recording. The Song of the Year is the songwriting. So voters are supposed to distinguish about the performance that was captured and the thing that was put out is the record, and the song on its own merits, covered by anybody, would be a good song type of thing.
My second complaint here. Why is there an R&B category when there's R&B? I just don't.
Oh, there's two R&B categories too.
And then,
there's contemporary and there's traditional.
And then you have,
because traditional is 60s soul style, and then
It's-
contemporary is pop music.
I don't enjoy that label when most pop music
Is
is
R&B
R&B music.
influenced,
So
yeah.
it's what are
What-
we talking about?
What did they officially change the name from? It used to be, for 3 years, it was put out Urban Alternative Album, I think it was called, or Urban Contemporary, which basically just meant
You're black.
are you a black person who both sings and raps?
It's terrible.
I don't know what they changed that name to eventually, but
Best rock performance, where we have Ozzy Turnstiles, which was kind of cool.
I see
Bryan
what it is.
Adams, Brandy Carlisle, the Black Keys, and Beck are all in the rock, and then we have best metal performance, which is whatever, but
it's progressive R&B is now the one where it was urban contemporary.
Here's my terrible
Progressive R&B. So now there's traditional R&B.
the pop R&B,
and
which is come on, man.
it's
This one went up my butt a lot. Best alternative music performance. Why isn't the best rock why isn't so we have in this category the Arctic Monkeys, Big Thief, Florence and the Machine, Wet Leg, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs,
and those are songs, not albums.
right.
Yeah.
But still, alternative. Why aren't those all in the
single track
Why aren't
songs.
those all in the rock category? That doesn't make any. They're indie, sure, but that's contemporary rock right now. Is the Arctic Monkeys and Wet Leg and do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's literally
yeah.
contemporary rock and roll right now. So and then the Arcade Fire, who used to win Album of the Year at the Grammys, are now in the Best Alternative Music. Did they make alternative music before? Why were they in Album of the Year status then, but not? See what I'm saying?
Well,
obviously we know why. We know why. We're not going to talk about it,
So
but we know why.
Yeah, so some big nominations. ABBA's comeback album, first ABBA album in 50 years. Got a bunch of nominations, including Record of the Year and Album of the Year. Adele had Easy on Me, the song, nominated for stuff. Her album from 2021, 30, was nominated for a bunch. Beyonce's Renaissance made the eligibility by like a month and a half, so that's nominated for a bunch. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar is nominated for a bunch.
Hold on, it's Mr. Marble and the Big
Sorry,
Sleepies.
Mr. Marble, Sleepies.
Have some respect for Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Coldplay.
Yes.
Coldplay got nominated for a lot of stuff, whatever,
Yeah.
for their album where all the song titles are emojis. Like, all right, cool. Lizzo got nominated for a bunch. Harry
Lizzo.
Styles got nominated for a
Yeah.
bunch.
Yes.
So I think it's
I'm
going to
rooting
be
for Harry, man.
it's going to be a Harry Styles, Lizzo, Adele, Beyonce
all great,
cage
face.
match.
Yeah.
which is the pop categories are the only things I think I really care about the
Yeah.
Grammys. Everything else seems like they have no idea what they're doing. And it seems like they don't listen to music that much when they categorize things.
And Brandy Carlisle nominated for a lot. And she has been for the last few albums. She's been nominated for like Album of the Year for her last 2 or 3.
Yeah. Did you see that Beyonce tied Jay-Z for the most Grammy nominations of all time?
Wow. Do you have a
As
number
well?
maybe?
Ooh, let me
I would
take a look.
imagine it's like in the 60s.
Let me take a look. Yeah, I think she has 88 total.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Nominations.
Yeah, Popstar
Yeah.
picked up 9 new nominations this year, which means she has 88 in total, the same amount as Jay-Z, who earned 5 this year, including 2 for working on Renaissance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that, I mean, it is what it is. We talked about the category fraud and all that stuff, but like Beyonce's stuff, she'll be nominated in pop vocal performance, album of the year, record of the year, urban contemporary, R&B, traditional R&B. Like, she's nominated all over the place.
And she had one of the best music videos of all time.
I'm going to let you get back to it.
Thank you. I know that was the VMAs.
She's won 28 Grammys throughout her career, too, and it's tied with Quincy Jones in the number 2 spot for most Grammy wins of all time.
Number 1?
I really just hope that we get sort of a Derek Zoolander situation where Kanye West is not nominated for anything and then goes on stage and thanks the Academy.
Yeah. He's not invited. They
Who's
won't
number
let me.
1?
Who's number 1?
Who
Ooh.
was the number 1?
Oh,
most
it's Michael
Grammy-
Jackson, isn't it?
duh. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
not
You
Michael.
tell
It's
us.
you're looking at the thing, aren't you?
Oh, this doesn't have information on who was the number 1. It's just talking about Beyonce. It's about Beyonce. It's not about who has.
Google right now who
has
has
the
the
number
number
one?
1 most Grammy nominations.
It's Engelbert Humperdinck.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
We need to know. We're waiting.
Is it?
Oh, it's
John Williams?
It's Beyonce and Jay-Z tied for the most nominated artists in Grammy history.
Thank you.
Yes. I thought we were talking about Grammy
Winning.
wins.
Sure. I want to know that.
Well, yeah, who won the most? It's got to be Adele.
We care about winners here.
I think it's Adele.
No.
George.
Yeah, Sir George
why-
Solti,
Oh,
an orchestral and
orchestral.
operatic conductor.
conductor and
Is
composer.
the most
Yep,
Grammy award-winning
arranger.
individual of all time.
Because we only talked about the pop stuff. There's 5 times as many Grammys for world music, classical music, bluegrass, blah, 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 blah.
I got to put out
right,
a bluegrass record. Get me a Grammy.
Because you'll see a lot of the categories, especially the technical ones, it'll say producer of the year, non-classical, engineer of the year, non-classical, because there's a whole other side where it's all the audiophile stuff
Yeah.
from opera recordings and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I wonder who's
Interesting.
nominated for producer of the year this year.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Because that's always like kind
There
of
is a
a
list.
good
Here we go.
barometer of what was big that year. You want to do a control F on that?
Control F.
Oh
Search.
boy.
Search.
Oh boy.
Record of the year, song of the year, best new artist.
Open up WordPerfect.
Alex, you got that for
Control
us?
F.
Non-classical is
Yes.
Boy
Thank you.
Ida, Dahi, Dan Auerbach,
Sure.
That's a
He's
good-
been nominated like 5 times. Yep.
Mhm.
Durance de Mile Emile 2, or the second, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Jack
yeah, he works
Antonoff.
with sure.
Jack Antonoff is the Taylor Swift producer. And, right?
Yes.
And 1975.
yeah.
I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
Right
Well,
on.
the Grammys
Interesting.
will, we'll get back to you in 6 months about how they turn
We'll get
out.
back.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Tying into what we'll be covering later on, there is a little bit of beef in the hip-hop community. 21 Savage, I don't know if you saw,
21.
he came out
So-
at 21 and said that Nas is irrelevant. And there's been a bit of blowback from the hip-hop community saying how, 21 Savage, 21, is kind of off by saying that Nas is irrelevant. I don't know. I'm not sure. He also This kind of harkens back to like a bigger conversation that was happening when DJ Academics, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he called like all the
Academics.
Yeah, thank you. Called a bunch of like old rappers like Dusty and LL Cool J, got all pissed off. But the bigger picture here is like the question of whether or not, is Nas relevant? Is he not relevant?
What's relevance?
We'll get into that obviously a little bit.
Are textbooks about the Vietnam War relevant? Not really, but like you can learn a lot from them about the current wars in today's world.
Also,
so
Nas,
that's like Nas. Nas
right.
today, is he relevant? Not really, but he's only 50 years old. He's still making music, and he is one of the major cornerstones of hip hop music in the 90s.
Right.
So definitely a relevance in the culture by just that one album alone.
Influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be influential and not be relevant.
Yeah. So I thought that was, might we see sort of a rekindling of maybe sort of like beef in the hip hop community? I mean, we'll see, because I mean, the Game tried to take a shot at Eminem. That didn't really seem to go anywhere.
I'm going to tell you what. Nas is not even going to address.
He's not going to do anything.
Because Nas is Nas and 21 Savage
21
is
21 average.
Yeah.
So
well, I have beef. I have beef.
All right, what's your beef?
Let's get down to the beef right now. So
more hip hop beef.
In 2013, Paramore released their self-titled album, and it had 3 members on the front. And if you remember correctly, Paramore released a bunch of merch that said "Paramore is a band. We're a band," because the Farrell brothers had left the band previous to that recording coming out. So now that the other 2 members of Paramore have taken Hayley Williams to court, and Paramore, the band itself, we have the new album cover, which is just Hayley Williams with her back turned. So now the 2013 self-titled Paramore album on all streaming services is reverted to this new album cover where she has her back turned. It is just her. And
this is from that album.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And because she's in current lawsuit with past band members of her band, and the jacket says "Grow Up" on it, so you can surmise what you want to it from there.
I like it.
I like it too. It's very much like whatever. This is the thing. We always have known that Paramore is not really a band and is Hayley Williams and people. So that's fine and cool. But the like upfront of like, this is a band, to like the dying moments of you're not really a band anymore and it's just you, is very much fine. But the hype up forever was kind of like, that's weird. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
It was like a weird like fake media hype up, and then like everybody was like, the band was like, no, we are. And it's like, no, we know that it's you and other people. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But they doubled down, and then we now have this lovely album cover and lawsuits. So pay your band members. That's all I'm saying. And continue.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Do you guys have any more music news, or shall we move on to the...
I do not.
No?
No.
We're good?
And I'm saying that. I'm a Paramore fan. I like that record. It's really great. So
Yeah, I mean, lots of people are Paramore fan. I know, like
I am.
you know.
I'm just into fair.
I like that song where they're like,
equals.
"Wake me up." Wake me up.
Yeah, that's the best.
Get it, Jeff?
Yeah. Right?
Anyway, let's move on. So we decided that we were gonna like kind of do a reoccurring segment, kind of something with a little bit of a theme. So we're basically just picking a year out of a hat and then looking at a year out of a hat spanning from 1988 till present.
The years we were alive.
The years we've
At
been
least some
alive.
of us.
At least, oh right, yeah, we have the gap there. But either way,
When we do those late 80s, Luke isn't allowed to have an input.
I will
only
give
start-
you what my favorite album was either way.
Either way. The year that we chose for this segment is going to be 1995, just to get the segment kicked off. And then at the end of this segment, Alex will pick a random year between 1988 and the present. And going forward for the next ones, we'll just go through that. We'll kind of pepper it in on episodes here and there and everywhere. So 1995, guys.
Yeah, so the idea was... to come up with our favorite album of that year.
Right.
So not necessarily what we considered the best album, but just the one we like the most.
Sure.
Particularly. 1995 for me was very easy to come to because there were a lot of good albums released that year. The mid 90s were kind of like a big year in alternative rock becoming pop music. But for me, it's no questions the second album by Radiohead called The Bends. It's the second Radiohead album I got very into. It's the Radiohead at their Brit poppiest guitar-based music, and it's not like the messy, in my opinion, kind of shit show that the first record was. This second album has like so many excellent songs, Fake Plastic Trees and Planet Telex and Lung, My Iron Lung and Black Star, and it's just it's a great record, and I highly recommend it. And it's kind of like a band finding their legs and really going a little weirder and kind of stretching out and becoming what they would then become even further on the next album.
Yeah.
Right on.
My pick is going to be from Genius Jizza from the Wu-Tang Clan. The name of the album is, I want to say this correctly, Liquid Swords.
Thank you.
You have to say it with the Staten Island inflection.
Swords.
Swords. So it's his second studio album. And, you know, in sort of like the similar Wu-Tang fashion, it's like, you know, Wu-Tang members have solo records, but other Wu-Tang members are all over the place and all that, but more so just kind of like backing up the individual artists and everything. You had like for Cuban Links from, oh, Jesus, why am I
Raekwon,
thank you. And then, you know, you had Tikal from Method Man, and then you had Old Dirty Bastard. You know, they all kind of went. But for me, this one is like my favorite. It gives you all of that great sort of RZA-styled sampling that you get with like all of the Kung Fu movie stuff peppered in, and, you know, and all that stuff. Just a fantastic record, in my opinion. And like I said, it's my favorite one.
This is your favorite Wu-Tang solo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Old Dirty Bastards is up there. Like, it's for sure.
Which ODB, the first or the second one?
Which one is the one where it's his
welfare card?
Yeah, the one where it's his face on it.
Yeah.
Where it looks like an ID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
welfare
what
card.
I'm-
Yeah, the welfare card. Thank you.
I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
That's the first
but
one.
yeah,
It's
this
kind of a
one-
play on 36 Chambers. I
Yeah,
forget what it's called.
I think like in the setting of Wu-Tang as Wu-Tang the group, Method Man, I kind of like. I really like Method Man's style. Obviously, Raekwon's awesome, but as far as like a standalone album front to back,
Sure.
this one's my favorite. I think maybe because it reminds me, or it feels the most like 36 Enter the 36 Chambers.
Yeah, sure.
That's why I think I like it the most.
This is top 3 Wu-Tang solo for me.
Yeah,
It's this, Cuban Links with Raekwon, and I just said his name.
ODB.
No, I didn't say his name. Ghostface.
Oh, Ghostface.
And then Ghostface.
Oh, yeah.
Ghostface, Supreme Clientele.
Yeah.
Those are like the 3 for me.
Yeah.
I think those
like
were
Ghostface.
those were like 3 of the first 4 released as solo things too.
Yeah. As the whole. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, Shadowbox is a killer
great.
song. Investigative Reports is great. Investigative Reports, the way they say it, everything. Liquid Swords, you know, like for me, it's every track on this album. So that's my pick. I love it. I love Jizza. I love Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang forever.
I'm going to go with the quintessential indie pick on the
1995. Well, let me think.
It's very, very much.
Indie pick.
It's Pavement, Wowie
Oh,
Zowie.
wowie zowie.
So, I was like I didn't know Pavement at all. Like, I was not hip to Pavement. I was in a record store, and somebody was like, hey, you should listen to this record because you would like this record. And I was like, okay. So I bought it, and I brought it home, and I was like, oh, yeah, I do love this record. Wowie Zowie, for me, does not sound like the other Pavement records, which I went and listened to afterwards. Wowie Zowie is a very stonery, jangly, at times like crazy and raucous of a record. It is very arty in that sense. The production on it is very good. It has cool things like harmonica on it on the first track, Rattled by the Rush, which was released as a single. As like just cool things like that. I really like how the lyrics are kind of nonsensical and you can kind of put what you want on it. And yeah, that's why I really like it. It's kind of the best world of like Weezer's Pinkerton, which I was really into before listening to this, and it has a bit more of like that just good distorty jangle.
So being somebody like me, like Pavement has like a serious blind spot for me as far as like music goes. They're just never a band that I really ever got into. Would you say this is a good entry level album when you're trying to get into Pavement, or are there later albums that you could probably start with and work
Earlier
your way?
albums.
Everybody likes Slanted Enchanted,
yeah.
but I don't like Slanted Enchanted. It's not. I've never really connected with Slanted Enchanted.
That's the first album?
Yeah, that's the big album. I think that's the
one
second
before
album.
this one, maybe.
Yes, it is the one before this one. I believe it's their second album. But either way,
Oh, it is their first.
It is their
I would
first?
start with the second album, Crooked Rain, Crooked Rain.
Oh yeah, Crooked.
That's one I would start with. And then Wowie Zowie.
Because I saw, what was it? Wasn't it like Soccer Mommy and them? Like, there was like a show where they all got up and they played a Pavement song, and I remember
Right.
seeing that, and I was like, why?
So
Like,
like
they're just such a blind spot. Pavement is
They
such a
were
blind spot for me. I've just never got into that.
a very big band in a lot of circles, and not a big band in a lot of other circles, and they broke up before you got your 2000s major. Then they never signed to a major label. So
Yeah.
that's why
they're
again,
janglier, more Americana than like how Sonic Youth and bands like that are more punky influenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right on.
That's a great description of
Yeah.
Pavement. But yeah, so if you are on the lean to the stonery side, Wowie Zowie is probably the record for you. If you don't tend to go that way, it's probably their earlier records.
Okay.
But I like Wowie Zowie. It's very messy and fun and like finger paints.
Cool. Well, there you have it.
Are any honorable mentions? Any that you considered? Alex?
Alex?
The infamous Mob Deep.
Oh, you stole mine.
Okay.
Alex stole mine, but that was my other one. I saw the infamous.
My honorable mention is Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette.
Yes, I did see that on the 1995. I also
Hootie might have been 95.
I'll tell you
too.
which one isn't one of my
Cracked
favorite
review.
ones. Post by Bjork.
Oh,
I don't forget Bjork.
I love
Forget.
Bjork.
Only for Cuban Links. That was 1995 as well.
I also like Wilco's AM from 1995,
Sure.
but it's not even close to how I like
Oh,
Wowie Zowie.
D'Angelo's Brown Sugar was 1995. Foo Fighters, the self-titled.
I'm a big fan of that Foo Fighters record. That's got some good tunes
It's all
on
right.
it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
For All the Cows.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Oh, and Old Dirty Bastard, Return to the 36 Chambers. That one's 95 as well. Sorry not to cut you off, but
No.
well, so there you have it. Alex, can you give us our next year
Anything from 1988 through today.
through today?
We're gonna do the big break. 2000.
Oh,
2000.
easy. I don't even have to think about it. We'll discuss next week.
Oh, I know it. I know what
Millennium
you're
Edition.
picking. I so know what Jeff's picking.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Let us know what you think. What are some of your favorite albums from the year 1995? Were you alive in 1995?
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish. I only want to be with you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Hofner Guitars. I have here the Hofner Shorty. It is a full-scale, travel-size guitar. You can find this and all of their products at hofnerguitars.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to Get in the Garage.
We're the music podcast.
For music lovers.
Before we get into our two new album reviews, we wanted to do something quick. Alex and Luke went to a show this past weekend, and they wanted to do Luke wanted to do a little quick shout out to some of the local bands that they went and saw.
a
So
little show and tell.
Yeah, we went to Willimantic Records in Willimantic, Connecticut, which you should go and check out and buy some records from. But we saw the band's Little Hag, which I did not get a record from, but we saw Little Hag, Yawn Mower, which was a great band. They were from New Jersey, so check them both out. And we also saw Dr. Martino, and this is their record, their comp, Caligrams. Is that how you would pronounce that?
Caligrams?
Yeah. Sure. So this is the name of that record, and Alex picked up a copy for himself. Alex, did you have a great time?
I did. Excellent time.
It was fun. All the bands were really, really good.
Yeah, it looked like you guys had a nice time. Yeah.
Everybody was really nice. So check out Dr. Martino, Little Hag, and Yawn Mower. And yeah, it was
Which one is Willimantic Records? Is that where they kind of share a hallway with a bunch of other
Yes,
arts and
the
crafts
collective
things?
space.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, go check them out. Check out Willimantic Records.
Support your local music scene.
Yeah, 100%.
Little Hag.
100%. All right. So onward we go.
Onward.
Two new album reviews.
Too new.
So one of the two that we're going to cover is Nas, a.k.a. Nasty Nas, a.k.a. Nostradamus.
Nas Escobar.
Nas Escobar. The album is
Nasir Jones.
King's Disease 3. It is, like Luke said in the intro, the final wrap-up to the trilogy that we had, King's Disease 1, 2, and this is 3. It was released this past Friday. And for me, I absolutely love this record, man. I thought this was great. I think Nas is still just as good as he ever was, and I think that the subject matter that he covers is great. It's introspective, it's thoughtful, it's storytelling, it's all kinds of cool stuff. What did you guys think of this record? Because I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. This is the 4th consecutive album produced by Hit Boy for Nas, and he did the other King's Disease. He did Magic, which dropped at the end of last year. And this, out of the 4, has the most that are solely produced by Hit Boy. So this is like the hittiest, boyiest record. I enjoyed it. I like the fact that for the first time in a while, I kind of enjoyed the old man Nas perspective. Nas is like, he's tricky for me because I really appreciate what he does and I'm really into what I'm into. But I find because of his delivery, his like literal voice, sometimes it just like washes and it gets lost to me.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I share the same opinion about Tupac, where I'm like, I really like what you do, but like at some point it just kind of like becomes this, like it melds into the tracks a little too much. But I thought that these beats were a good pairing, and that didn't happen as much. There's more separation between the vocals, and maybe his voice sounds similar like it did like 20, 30 years ago, but this I dug this a little bit more than some previous releases.
I enjoyed this release mainly in contrast to the hip-hop release we did last week, which was Drake and 21 Savage.
21.
This record had, I'm just going to talk like content, like straight up. It had a lot of like praising of women and like talking positively in those lights. It also had, it shouted out the Kendrick Lamar record that came out and how that's moving in a different style of hip-hop this record is definitely taking cue from as well. I loved how he was taking what he was like, this is who I used to be, but if you look who I am now, I've grown and it's better. I'm in a better light, I'm in a better place, I'm a better person, and that came through in what he was rapping about and the way he was rapping about it. Like, I mean, I really, really, really loved the messaging of this record, and I thought it didn't sound like an old man telling you to like,
pull up your pants.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't like you kids. It was just like, this is how it's done. I'm a master at this, and it had some really great songs on it, and that whole album as a whole was really, really cohesive in that way.
Yeah, he seems to have like kind of like filled this sort of like mentor role for like younger people. There wasn't really any shitting on people as much as there was just kind of being like, hey, let's stop being shitty towards each other. And I really like that sentiment about this record. There's the WTF SMH, that one where he's just like, hey man, there's people out there who are like doing you wrong and who are out to get you and stuff like that. Like, we need to like come together. This is not, you know.
Even he squashes his like Jay-Z beef in, I believe, the song Legit, where he like says like, sometimes I text Jay-Z just to be like, this shit isn't dead, but like obviously if you were texting Jay-Z you wouldn't be beefing with him that hard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So that whole thing where he's like, yeah, I used to be that guy, but like it's better this way.
Right.
And he has 3 songs that are back to back to back. Right before the album ends, First Time, Beef, and Don't Shoot, which are very much like the old head talking to the young guys about like how it used to be in compared to how it is today, and how like we used to struggle and fight each other, and it used to be a lot more tension, and now it's like, yeah, we can just get along. There's space for all of us here in this culture and in this music.
Yeah, and that messaging was very much like upfront. I was like, oh, everyone's invited to enjoy this record. Like, especially too when he was like talking about that his influences on that song, where he was just like, I hope this is your first time listening to me. Like, I hope, you know what I mean? Like the first time I listened to this or the first time I listened to that was so, like profound to him. And that to me was like, I hope this is the first time everyone's allowed to listen to this. Everyone's allowed to like this. And the music that he was referencing in that song, Aretha Franklin, and things of that, you know what I mean? So like way far out, Stevie Wonder was in there.
Yeah, he can paint this really nice picture, you know what I mean, where you kind of really understand. I mean, the song Beef stands out to me a lot too, because it's very much like that song I Gave You Power, where it's this sort of perspective. So he, in a sense, is beef, right? So he is the conflict. He's like the embodiment of the idea that is beef. And then so he's like, why do you always include me? Because, I'll always win. Like, in other words, the beef will always win. Like, the conflict will always win. So I love that sort of like perspective thing. Hood to Hood I really like too, because Nas was there when the whole East versus West thing happened, man. And that was like a legit thing. It wasn't just Biggie and Tupac that were going back and forth.
He was there when the boroughs of New York City were.
Right, yeah, that as well. So for him to call out the West Coast, for him to call out Chicago, for him to call out the South, and just kind of be like, I am trying to be this unifying power to say like, hey, listen, it's we're better together than like beefing with each other. Like, I love that.
On the song Thun too, it had the Boogie Down production, Queen's Bridge interplay or interpolation in it, which was really cool because you were talking about that, and that song was doing like you said, like the boroughs, and he was kind of doing it with that, and then he moved in with like the bigger picture later on the other song. I really, and the thing too that was cool about this record is I was like, at first I was like, kind of, thank God this isn't like a record full of trap beats. It's not all trap beats, but like the ones that he does do trap beats on, I'm on Fire, I believe, has some like trap beat at the end, and he like switches up his style on that, and it has the beat slow down, and that worked so well, and that song had me like moving. I'm on Fire was really, really like a danceable song. Legit was like another one that had that great piano,
the live crowd. Samples or whatever,
just coming in and out, and like it made you want to dance, and it was really fun and groovy. So it did have some like major like cool messaging that was played well, but it also had those like really good like bangers that were like
really
cool,
good beats,
cool party songs, and the beats were fun because it wasn't all trap beats. You got like some kind of old schooly R&B sampled beats, and then you got some new school trap beats thrown in there, and then you got a combination of the two. I dug that because I was like, it doesn't sound like a played out record. It sounds like a very, in like a way, like a lot of hip hop sticks with like the new style, and you're not doing the new style, your old hat, but this is taking kind of all of that and mixing it into one, and I dig that way more.
It's funny because when we were driving in this morning, we were driving to work together this morning, we were talking about it, and it's just like, is it because we have more, we appreciate the old school book, because inevitably we covered a hip hop album last week, the Drake and 21 Savage, and it's like, is it like Alex wants to go say 21 it inevitably happens. Like we A/B these records sometimes, and it's just like, is it that our tendencies is to lean towards the old school because that's a preference thing, or is this a better album? And I think both, for me anyway. I think it's, no matter what, I'm going to appreciate the more old school flavor because that's just my taste in hip hop. But what's up?
Masses in general, this is getting over 90 average score on a scale of 100.
Yeah.
And compared to the Drake 21 album, that's less than a 7.
Yeah.
So,
who's more relevant?
Drake and 20. That's the thing, though. At the end of the day, it's like Drake and 21 Savage are way more relevant. And that I'm just talking to him too. I'm like, because I'm like not fully immersed in the hip hop world. I'm like, do I like this record because I really don't connect with the trap beats as well? Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, think trap. Trap is it's kind of straight, and it's kind of like it's all Pro Tooled, and it's all locked in. And then this album has so much funk and soul music in it. Like the song Get Light is very funky. The song Recession Proof. Like
I liked Recession
Proof
like, too. That was dope.
Like kind of funk bass stuff and more live drum samples and that like live crowd stuff he mixes in on a few tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more of a throwback to that how hip hop music used to primarily sample soul and funk music.
Right. Yeah. It definitely feels more. I mean,
it's not like electro and like cold and
because that's like I feel like I just connect more with like that warmth and
Organic.
Because I think we were talking too. I think the last album that I liked like this style was that Black Thought record, man.
which
That
is
was
an older
that
MC doing soul samples. with
right,
Danger
right,
Mouse.
yeah. And I just think that's I don't know. For me, it is personal taste, I suppose. But
Oh yeah.
but I like the idea of sampling. I like the idea of, and throwing stuff in. And even still with this, like he gives you that party and bullshit. He gives you that Biggie Smalls thing. Even on the song Beef, he gives you that dee 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 from New York State of Mind, which is the first track off of the first Illmatic, the first album. So, he brings, I don't know, there's just so much more flavor. There's so much more variety. There's introspective lyric. All that stuff to me, I think as a whole, like, it just carries more weight as a record versus the 21 Savage Drake record, which is just kind of like, yeah, I guess this is like cool, whatever. It's not terrible, but it's like Nas is calling women queens and Drake's calling women bitches. So like you decide, I guess.
Yeah, digestible and kind of disposable versus music that is trying to like get more in your bones and more
Right.
grow on you and stuff like that.
Right. So ratings then, what do we think? I'm trying to remember what the hell I gave that Drake 21 Savage record.
Oh,
We gave it like 6s or 6.5.
Yeah, I think it was
I gave it a
6.5.
6. You guys gave it like 6 points.
6.5.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. What do you say, Luke?
This record for me is an 8. I love the execution. It's solid all the way through. There wasn't a song I would skip on it. I loved this record. I think it's just a really, really good high mark in the late career. So, Nas's King Disease 3. Check it out. I think it's high water mark 8.
Yes, I will agree with you too. I will say 8 as well. I think it's a great record, man. I think it's a great record. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be boring, but it's also an 8 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just a solid
very
record.
good.
For all the reasons we said.
I'll go back and listen to it a bunch more.
Yeah.
So
Same here. All right. On to our next album review. Luke, would you like to usher us into this one?
Yes.
We had some fun, I think, this week listening to this record. I was really looking forward to talking about it.
So we have Bruce Springsteen coming out with a new album, Only the Strong Survive. This is a album of soul and R&B covers, spanning many a decade, I guess, because you have from like the 80s to
60s
down.
through early 80s.
Yeah.
So there's some classic songs on there. We'll get into it, but this is a covers album from the boss. Many have made the move before, but this is kind of his like, I'm doing this now. So,
I think it's his second album of only covers.
yes, he did.
He did the Pete Seeger stuff in 2005 or 6,
Right.
which was all old folk music stuff.
and this is a take on his soul favorites. So,
Yeah.
what did we think about the Bruce Springsteen record, Only the Strong Survive?
As the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan of the three of us,
That's not hard.
I would say that I understand why he made this album, because if you know his music, he always has horns. He always has that like wall of sound style. He has glockenspiel and all these musical things that are taken from Motown and 60s soul. And the way he sings is like very heartfelt and very soul influenced rock singing, because he's not like a rock singer. He's a white guy who sings barroom soul music, basically. I thought this album was like akin to when artists put out Christmas music albums, where they're like doing a theme. And for a guy in his mid-70s, I thought, yeah, decent singing, decent stuff. But nothing really hit me as more than like, yeah, this is fine. Like what I thought was good was like, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And nothing made me like cringe and like go like, oh, this is terrible choice. But it was a lot of like, yeah, this is for his fans. Like, I don't know. It was whatever to me, but it's fine.
Yeah, for me, I guess I had a hard time connecting with it. That being said, listen, I have tried Bruce Springsteen. I really have. I've given it an honest go, and I just
not too honest.
Not too honest, but
you gotta listen to Nebraska. It's the one you would like.
I want to move to Montana. I'm done. I don't even.
Promise you.
No, but in all fairness, yeah, man. I mean, like, he's called the boss for a reason, man. Like, it's Bruce Springsteen, for crying out loud. He's an institution, you know. But as far as this record goes, I found it a little bit underwhelming. Luke and I were talking about it, and maybe it is like a safe record. I looked it up,
It's
and
incredibly safe.
I was looking it up, and
You should have done like Rick James songs.
this was I was really yeah, right. She's a super freak, super freak. But so a little bit of background of this record. From what I understand, it was mostly like cooked up. The idea was cooked up and I would say written, but it wasn't. It was recorded, arranged, if you will, during COVID lockdown. It was something that was done during a lot of that. And I think you had said too, the producer did most of the instrumentation. I did see the E Street horns are on it, but it's not the E Street.
Ron
band.
Aniello, who has worked with Bruce Springsteen before, played all drums, guitar, bass, keyboards.
And this is the point, I think. I mean, at least I have with this record is production-wise, it sounds like one guy played all the instruments because it sounds like very tight, very one-styled, very kind of one-thoughted. I didn't love that the production didn't get like a chance to breathe. It was a COVID thing, and this is only volume 1 of these covers, so there's more of these covers.
Yep.
So the thing, like you said, I had a bit of an issue connecting with this record as well. And for me, a lot of that, like Jeff said, I wanted the big. This is why I thought this record was gonna rock, like, or at least like kind of be like interesting, because the way Springsteen does "Santa Claus is Coming to Town," obviously it's the take on the Jackson 5 version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which he does so well, and he does it so well. He does it in the middle of July, and people lose their minds because it's such a fun song.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought we were going to get some of that magic and energy onto like some of these like soul classics where he was just kind of like going to rock through them and like do the Bruce Springsteen thing. But this is more of like a standard take on the arrangements of the songs, how they were originally like done. And he doesn't really rock through them or change up the arrangements to fit them in a what would be a more Bruce Springsteen type song. Even to the point, though, that he did pick songs that sound like Bruce Springsteen styled songs.
Right.
So for me to be like, why didn't you just...
Those were the best ones.
I know, and I'm like, why?
Because I was like, oh, I thought this was a Bruce Springsteen
song. And you're just like, why didn't you just kind of crank that dial a little bit? I was really hoping the E Street Band was going to be on this record and to really liven up some of those arrangements and put their personality that they bring so well in tracks like Santa Claus is Coming to Town or when the band does shout, like,
Yeah.
So things like that are a bit of a downer. But other than that, it's just the production. The singing is fine throughout the whole thing. He, is doing well for a man in, I believe, his 70s, right?
Yeah, we don't say that. I mean, at least I don't say that as like, forgive him. He is in his 70s. Like, he sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like...
He sounds
and
good.
then you think, oh shit, he is like 72 or 73 years old.
Right.
Like
the Christmas record thing comes through very much. If you could listen to this, I think you'll know what we're kind of saying.
Yep.
In the same way that, like, I was saying to Mike, this is a safe record choice. The song's already written. They've already have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
you really, unless you do really terrible covers of them, you're not really gonna mess them up. You know?
what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I was, I didn't want to come in here guns a blazing and just kind of like shit all over this record because I did think that there were some high points, man. Like I liked I Forgot to Be Your Lover. That's featuring Sam Moore from Sam and Dave. I enjoyed that song. My favorite song, I liked Hey Western Union, man. I thought that was good. I thought he did a great job with that vocal performance.
Again, though, that Bruce, it sounds
right. It
like
sounds like Springsteen, right?
Did you guys like Night Shift? That what was
Commodore's
it?
song.
The Commodore song,
dude.
That was one of my favorite ones.
It was such an obscure choice.
It was one of my favorites.
So obscure.
What?
Did you know
Is he
that
talking
song?
about Marvin Gaye?
Yeah,
you did.
that's a song that's like a tribute to Jackie Wilson and Marvin Gaye.
Right.
And that's why I liked it because it's pretty like bare bones, and he's singing about like we miss you, Jackie, like whatever it is, and that kind of builds up.
Yeah.
I think what you said is exactly what I was thinking, and I just like had not articulated it to the front of my brain. But like these arrangements are almost identical to the original recordings.
Yes.
Right.
So it's like Bruce karaoke.
That's
Because like even the vocal effects and like the how each record sounds, like where certain things have slapback and you're like, oh, this is a song from 1968 because every 1968 record had slapback. Songs that are like drier, you're like, oh, this is a 1964 song. Like you can tell.
Right.
What was the one with the funk with the like wah clav guitar? in the beginning?
I can't pick that one out.
That was
Crap.
I
Was
know that
when
night-
she was my girl.
yes,
that
Four Tops. I think it
Yeah.
was because Four Tops is like late 60s.
like
Oh,
the
also-
waka waka waka
It
waka
was like
waka waka.
wow.
Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 Rooms of Gloom. Also,
That's a Four Tops
Oh,
one too,
yeah,
that
because
was-
that's also psychedelic soul
that
era.
also
Yeah.
had some of that. The ones that I
You
mean,
liked I Forget to Be Your Lover?
I see. I
See,
did
I love
not-
that original so much that as soon as that started, I was like, ugh.
I will just say, just for
that's
the
like
record,
Bruce Springsteen singing "Respect." It's like
I had because I knew what songs like were good, so I had
yeah.
bad,
Sure.
okay,
Yeah.
and things
Ones
I
you
liked.
liked, sure.
Okay was I Forgot to Be Your Lover. I had
Sure.
I had that logged under okay, not good.
See, I liked the single off the record, "Do I Love You," because that was the "Do I Love You." Did I
Yeah.
do?
Sure.
Yeah,
that one.
because that
sure.
one was the most like
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce
It sounds
Springsteen
like it, yeah.
rocking. I did like Night Shift. I didn't like Bruce Springsteen singing about Marvin Gaye. It sounded weird. You could like he knew him because he didn't. Like I don't know if he did. Maybe he did. I don't know. But it sounded like he was like Marvin, and it was just like it was
Well, that's
so
a song. Yeah.
I know,
That's a
but
song.
like for me, I was like, that's weird.
Marvin.
But I did like the rest of that song. So
Yeah.
like Night Shift for me kind of worked and I liked it. Do
Yeah,
I
the-
Love You? I Wish It Would Rain. The Thames cover did kind of work for me.
I like the original too much. I
know
didn't
you
like-
did.
but I just thought, yeah, this is decent karaoke
Yeah.
version. Whatever. it's fine.
And 7 Rooms of Gloom is the other one I
Yeah.
did like. But yeah, the one guy playing all the instruments makes
That
the
was okay.
tracks sound a bit like their karaoke tracks, and it's not to the fault of
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen singing. It's just kind of the fault of the production and arranging choice.
It's so trying to do replications of the original.
yeah,
See, that's
and-
I just
Which is-
wanted it to be.
Yeah, if it had been a
more-
twist, I would have liked it a lot more.
Like-
It's like, do you remember when A Perfect Circle did Imagine?
yeah.
Like-
and it was like Nightmare.
Right,
Yeah, sure,
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just wish there was a little bit
Yeah.
more of like a different flavor. You
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head. It's Bruce Springsteen.
Well, I like
soul karaoke,
and I
That's what
liked
it is.
all the ones that sounded like E Street arrangements. Like I think Any Other Way, where you have the Barry sax, just like coming in on everything. and
I
you're like,
have to say,
yeah,
the
it
other one that
sounds
just
like Born to
made-
Run album.
the other one that made me go running for the original
12th
was
Avenue freeze out. It sounds
No.
like that song.
Don't Play That Song for Me, the Benny King and
Yeah?
the Aretha Franklin
Yeah,
cover.
yeah.
See, for me, I was like, Aretha Franklin has already smashed
Right.
the original of that, and it's like those
We
two
A-B'd that the other day.
they are so great in the original and the Aretha one. I'm like, this one is for me. I was like, oh, I don't need like a, you know what I mean?
But that's what some of the reviews that I had read and I saw, and for the record, I believe Pitchfork gave it a 7.
They did.
But some of the reviews that I did see was a lot of people saying that, where they were like, it was a good record, but it just made me go back and listen to the originals because I enjoyed the originals more than this.
Four
you know?
Tops, the Frankie Valley, the
means it's-
Jimmy Ruffin.
Right.
For me,
right,
though, that means it's not that great of a record. Where I listened to Bob Dylan's Triplicate, and I don't really want to go back and listen to the original Sinatra songs. I'm enjoying Bob Dylan do those weird Americana-y takes on them
Right.
in his rough voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just me, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Bruce Springsteen, and this is for the fans of Bruce Springsteen, I think. And
Yes.
it's cool, man. He's had a over 50-year career,
Yeah.
and he wants to sing the songs that inspired him to become a musician, and it's done to the best of his abilities, which is again not like a backhand compliment. Like but also like whatever. I'm not gonna buy I don't buy Christmas albums by people I like for the same reason, because I'm like, yeah, I'll probably really like 2 of these songs.
Yeah.
And then the other 10, I'll go, well, everybody else's version of this song is better. Or like,
Right.
you can't outdo the classic of that's already been done of this song.
Right.
like,
right.
And it just made me go, Yeah, Bruce Springsteen, great American artist. Let me cue up Born to Run, The River. Yeah, I just went back to the catalog because I like what he does.
Yeah.
I want an album of Iggy Pop doing the
Bruce
American
Springsteen doing Iggy Pop songs.
songs.
That's what I want.
and they do it
I
AB.
wanna be your dog.
Trying to that grumbly howl. Anyway, all right, let's go around the table.
What are we thinking the next? Will it be more covers of this era? I mean, there's
No,
so many songs, so
think,
it could be.
I
Yeah.
think this dude
It's a billion
recorded
songs from
about 200 cover songs, and I'm not sure. This is what I think. I think he did
Mm.
like 200 cover songs of every genre, and
Yeah.
this was the first one he lumped together in a group because he probably was like, we could lump these all fit. There's more. There's probably like a country one. There's probably like a garage rock. You know what I'm saying? There's probably like
I want his new wave where he's like, call me, tell me if you want to.
She's just a girl.
She was at the beach. Everybody had matching towels.
She's just a girl you want.
So let's go around the table.
Just what I needed.
Let's go around the table real quick. Let's give it a rating.
We are young.
I'll go first. Bruce Springsteen, you're the boss. American icon. Honestly, in my
Jersey's
opinion,
own.
like you're in the conversation for best white musicians of the 70s because yes, there are many more notable, more enjoyable black musicians of the 70s. It's a 6. It's whatever. It's fine. There are like 5 songs I was like, rock on. And the rest I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
6, whatever.
Yeah. I'm gonna go harsher. I'm gonna say it's
Yeah.
about a 5 for me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean,
like
whatever.
I'm just not interested. It's like that's cool, Bruce. Do your thing,
Yeah.
man. Good for you. I'm happy. Hey, I'm happy that these are your influences. That's cool. You have good taste in music.
Yeah.
But just Bruce Springsteen them for me. Don't just give me the exact mediocre replicas.
I'm gonna go with the exact one you did. I think this is a 5. It's just just kind of Christmas recordy. It's that's it.
Yeah.
For all the reasons I said.
Yes,
I like
and no
it.
disrespect to Springsteen or the Springsteen estate or any Springsteen fans for that matter. Because
It's just we expect a little more
From the boss.
From the boss.
Bruce Springsteen.
from the boss.
What else could he go to? He could go to like.
I
See,
want to
this
hear
is
him doing like Pearl Jam songs.
No,
Oh.
this is what.
I want him to do like. I want him to do 90s hip
spoken.
songs, 90s hip hop songs.
Oh,
all are
So-
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine,
the,
and it has like this like the glockenspiel all over it.
the real one he should do is 60s girl groups. It's the one that makes sense that the E Street Band would be good and backing because I think
A
it's
73-year-old man singing the songs from a 16-year-old girl's perspective.
but like not you don't have to do it like you know what I'm
They'll
saying
never see
though.
it coming.
But like the Phil Spector,
Oh yeah, that's
Cat-
his idol.
that's what I'm saying is
C-
the girl
convicted,
groups.
convicted murderer.
Convicted murderer.
Phil Spector, have
Phil
some
Spector.
respect. Have some disrespect.
Those crazy eyes.
Dead convicted murderer.
Rest in
Rotten pieces.
peace.
Rotten
Thank you.
piece.
Anyway, all right. Well,
6. Yeah, I mean,
That would be good though, right?
yeah, I would
mean,
love him to do like.
Interesting.
I'd love him to do like late 50s, like the not Elvis, but like that era, that
Yeah.
rockabilly roots
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I
His take on like Nickelback or
yes.
Question for everybody. Let's take some guesses here. How many more cover albums does he do off of this?
well, I'm gonna go dark. When I saw it's the first in a series and he's doing all these cover albums, I was like, does he have some kind of diagnosis he's not sharing with the world? Is this like his last gift to us?
Oh,
So I'm hoping
Oh my God.
I don't know
God.
because that's what I thought. I thought, well, he's.
I hope he kept the receipt because this gift is getting
Nah.
returned.
I saw him on Fallon. He was dancing.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, he was on Fallon. He was fine.
I'm gonna say there's 3 albums
This
that
one
he's
for a
gonna
trilogy?
release. He's gonna release off this. I think it'll be a trilogy.
I hope one. You know how he did that podcast with Barack Obama. I hope he has Barack on a couple tracks as his Flav. He does all 80s hip hop music.
I mean, 3 makes sense. 3's like a
should
good
bring
number.
Br-
The
he
trilogy.
should bring Barack
the-
in as producer. He'd do a better job.
I'll be honest with you.
Oh my God.
Is there any information as to any sort of a plan? I think he's
that
just
I
gonna
see.
go until the wheels fall off, man. I think he's
Oh.
just gonna go like you know what I'm
listen,
saying.
I
Like,
think he's going Johnny Cash, American.
Yeah, to the
1, 2, 3,
wheels.
4, 5, 6, whatever.
Well,
Yeah, right.
Bob Dylan's doing the same shit too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He's doing it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows? We'll see. I know he's kicking off a tour. I think at the beginning of 2023 with the E Street Band and everything, like to go off and do the
Oh, he's a monster, man.
the Bruce Springsteen thing. I mean, you know, he got some flack for the ticket prices and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, the guy plays like a 3-hour show.
I will say that Bruce Springsteen is probably the only person still left in rock and roll that actually puts on a rock and roll show that you do not know what you're going to go see when you go and see it, and it's going to be some fucking sprinkly magic in there every fucking time. I will say that.
I gotta see him. I've missed so many legends. I gotta see him.
You gotta see him before he dies.
I think I've seen
Rest in peace, Tom Petty.
a couple. Oh, I've seen a couple legends.
I missed him. I missed Prince. I missed a couple people.
I saw the real legend though, Joe Walsh.
Yeah, man.
And on that note,
No, with Tom Petty. On that note, let us know what you think, by the way, of these two albums. Did we hit the mark? Did we miss the mark? Let us know. How's Bruce Springsteen? How's Nas's new record? Let us know. Before we finish off, remember, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Share the podcast. It's a very, very small gesture on your part that makes a huge difference on our end, and we really, really appreciate it.
we really do.
Yes, we do indeed. Until next week, guys, this has been Get in the Garage. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.